I'm going to do a layout mainly working with Gorgeous Grunge and the 4 Feathers stamp set. The 4 Feathers stamp set has a matching framelit set, which I think is fantastic. So I'm using baked brown sugar to stamp my splotches in the background. I like this colour because it has a little bit of a metallic type sheen to it. When you're using this splotchy set, if you turn it around each time you use it so that when you stamp, it doesn't look like the same stamp. It kind of looks like you've used a few different stamp sets. So turn it around and stamp. I probably haven't stamped up or down low enough here for what I'm envisaging. I might just add a few of the splotches in the darker. That's crumbed cake. Around that way. And maybe one of these. If you haven't purchased this set before, what are you waiting for? A lot of people see it in the catalogue and think, what is that stamp set? But I love it. I'll just use these. I've got Pool Party and Island Indigo. Just going to stamp them kind of a bit like they're falling down the page. I don't know, something along those lines. Oh, didn't press that one hard enough. When your clear stamps fall off the block like mine just did, it normally means that your ink pad, your stamp blocks aren't clean enough. So you can clean your blocks with the cleaning cloth in the catalogue, or the other thing that you can do is you can use rubbing alcohol. When I'm a bit desperate, I just use my top, but it doesn't give as good a clean as if you use the cleaning cloth or the rubbing alcohol. When you're doing a design like this, you want to make sure that you do some of your stamping off the edge of the page. I'll just check. I don't think I cleaned that very well. I think my stamping mat needs a bit of a clean. If you do some stamping off the page a bit, it gives it a more natural look, and that's what you want when you're creating a background like I am. You just want to make it so that it looks as natural as possible rather than something contrived. So I've stamped a few extras on some cardstock just so that I can cut those out. So I'll bring the big shot in. And this is where your magnetic platform comes really in handy, is with anything when you're using the dies, because they snap They snap right on like that. Sometimes you have to be a bit careful to make sure they don't move. Not that they don't move, that they line up with the magnets and they snap directly to the magnets. So some people think that they're leaves. I guess you could use them as leaves. I look at them as feathers. So I'm using these 2 Instagram pics of 3 of my 5 children. They're just some selfies in the morning before school. And I wanted to use this beautiful designer series paper, this specialty paper, and just add a few layers behind here. So I didn't want them directly square on there. I just wanted to add a bit of movement there. So I just want to create a few more layers around here. These are beautiful thin papers. They're like old-fashioned book pages. Like the map one is just stunning. So I think that's a bit too stark. Yeah, I might leave that one. I'm going to use some paper from the Confetti Celebration Designer Series paper packs. I just want to use some of the more neutral tones. This comes with some really bright tones in here, and I've made a few layouts with these bright ones, but I just wanted to add some of the more neutral tones as some layering behind here, just to add a little bit of movement and a little bit of fun. So you can see this one has a few semicircles of colour in there, and that's fine for what I want, but I just don't want an overpowering background. So I'm not being too precise with this at the moment. I'm just chopping away, and I'll see how it goes as I build up some layers. See, I probably didn't want it that So from the Project Life accessories kit from Playground, I've got these nice alphas that I'm going to use for my title. I've also got some great little sticker sheets that I'll pull out to see if I like anything to add as some embellishment. I'm looking at the Project Life cards to see if there's one here that I can add as my journaling. That might be a good one. Or even that one. Anyway, I shouldn't flick too much, because what I find is you go, oh, I could use that and that and that. And I've just take the first few options that you find that you like. That way you don't get too overwhelmed. I'm going to stick these layers down now. When you have some layers like this, you probably want to add some dimensionals behind them, because that of course, adding dimensionals gives it some dimension, but it also gives it just some variation in texture, which is always good when you're working with paper. So I'll just flick these to the side while I adhere these layers. So this is the Fast Fuse adhesive. It's quite a strong adhesive. It's not really one. It's not a repositionable adhesive. When adhering thin pieces like this, you want to add a bit of glue. It just makes it easier to do. And anyway, that wasn't where it was before, but it doesn't matter. Don't stress the small stuff is my philosophy, because I've got to scrapbook for 5 kids and my husband and myself. I don't really have time to worry about exactly where it was. My theory is I just get the memories down. The quicker the memories are down, the quicker I can get on to doing the next one. So don't be afraid to cut up your Project Life cards, because if you do that, then you're going to get through them to start with, and you're actually using the supplies more in a way that you would prefer and that would make you happy. So just, yeah, don't stress with using your supplies. Just use them and get them done. Better them being used than in a packet not being used. Anyway, so I'll get my journaling done. I've stamped this from, it's the Snapshot stamp set. I love that camera. So I'm just trying to work out whether I want to add it in somewhere. So while I'm having a play around with these, I'll have a think about what I'm wanting to do with that Snapshot camera. and add a dimensional at the bottom for a bit of height. I'll tuck it under there. So I actually want this one to break up the two solids. This one. I don't think it's really going to work on something like that. I think I'm going to need a little strip of paper. This is just the Island Indigo, so it matches. So I'm just going to put my title on here. I think it needs something up there. I'll put some dimensionals on the back of that. Here's a sticker, love this, from the so that's in the Island Indigo that we've been using. I'm just trying to work out now what else I'd like to do. Might add some more feathers coming down this side. Just a few, not a lot, not the cluster here. So I've just cut out another few feathers here just to add into this top corner. I've left the lid open. So I get the journaling done.